What's up, everybody? The embargo for the reviews of Armored Core 6 just dropped today, and the reviews are overwhelmingly positive. Even IGN gave Armored Core an 8 out of 10. But like moths attracted to a flame, gaming journalists are attracted to making terrible reviews and really bad takes. And today we'll be taking a look at just that. The review from VG247 that is giving Armored Core a 6 out of 10 and is calling it bland and underdeveloped. Now, I didn't have to go dumpster diving to find the review. It was actually on the first page of Google, so it's not like it's some small publication. Without further ado, let's dive deep in this pile of garbage. So right off the bat, you can see that the author is throwing shade by writing meh at the top, and then he's saying Armored Core 6 review, wadding in the Rubicon. Armored Core 6 shines in its tough, brilliant boss battles, but feels bland and underdeveloped everywhere else. Sci-fi, giant robots, and dystopian futures that shine a light on the worst excesses of human nature as a cautionary tale light up my brain like few other things can. If you throw in the prospect of hours spent fine-tuning one of those giant sci-fi mechs until it's a misshapen wreck capable of bringing down entire planets, I basically turn into a living version of a mind-blown GIF. In theory, Armored Core 6 should have had the same effect on me. It ticks all those boxes and has the framework of a deep, rewarding action RPG, but the mech inside that frame isn't quite up to the task. If there's another Armored Core game, I hope From Software decides to branch out with a story and give you a more significant role in it. For now though, you're just along for the ride, and with shoulder-mounted weapons, rocket boosters, and ultra-powerful weapon in each hand, it can be quite the ride sometimes. The real challenge and the best parts of Armored Core 6 comes from the boss battles. Whether you're fighting another Armored Core, a distressingly agile jumping tank, or a laser shooting eyeball mounted on a carrier the size of a small city, Armored Core 6's boss battle make you think carefully about every move, or else it's brutal in the way you would expect a From Software game. But you eventually get into a pattern of timing your reloads, figuring out the best cover, and combining movement with the right attacks to cause maximum damage. I just wish it actually felt good to play. I never felt comfortable in my Armored Core, which might be fine and even a bit meta if I were a brain-fried mercenary pulling levers and following orders like our hero 621 is, but as a functioning human trying to get a handle on Armored Core 6, it wasn't that great. Movement is imprecise and floaty, something I initially put down on poorly balanced weight on my mech, and even after loading it up with bulky weapons and nearing my capacity though, I didn't notice a substantial change in my mobility. More heft and friction would have helped make Armored Core 6 feels more grounded and substantial, and even opened the way for more nuanced builds in ways to approach challenging situations. So this is where the reviewer really loses me. So everybody has talked about how the mech feels so intuitive that the gameplay, the combat is perfect, and they control and feel absolutely great. They are not complicated to use. You can just pick up a controller and start moving around right away. And all the other reviewers just say how good it feels to pilot the mech. I don't know if this guy is just trying to be a contrarian, trying to get rage clicks, but this is a real legitimate review from a decent publication. So to hear that they say that the combat and the movement feel sluggish is just extremely surprising. Speaking of builds, Armored Core 6 is happy to let you put together some impressively stupid weapon combinations and trundle onto the battlefield with seemingly no hope of success. But with patience and good understanding of the level, you can actually pull off some sweet victories with the most unlikely setups. I started setting myself challenges to get through certain missions with improbable weapon combinations just to see if I could, and was pleasantly surprised how often the answer was yes, even if the road to victory was a rough one. You're also kind of locked into using a heavy or melee weapon in one hand. Most missions have at least one set of shielded enemies or high-powered targets to destroy, and your rifles, pistols, and launchers will just bounce off these foes. Artillery weapons work, but why opt for something unwieldy with low ammo when you can have a powerful default weapon right there? So the short version of that, Armored Core 6's customization is impressive, but outside the usual upgrades to your defense and health, it's not really essential. So this gaming journalist is saying that customizing your mech is not really essential. Well, I would love to see him complete the harder challenges in the game with a basic mech with basic weapons. What he's saying is absolutely ridiculous because customization is the core of an Armored Core game, and this guy really fails to see the point. So he was saying that the customization is not important, neither are some of Armored Core 6 other big new features. It touts its verticality and omnidirectional battles as core pillars of the experience, though they're not as impressive as they sound. Omnidirectional combat just means enemies moving all around you, something that makes for fantastically tense boss battles, but adds little to most of a mission's standard encounters.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The verticality is weaker. Armored Core 6 doesn't tie mobility to your bot's part like Armored Core 5 does, so gaining height is just a matter of finding footholds to wait on while your energy recharges before you fly again. Verticality designed stages end up just having obstacles for the sake of making you fly, and rarely do they put them to good or interesting use. That's a shame, as the potential for something stronger, for more focused stage design that leans into your Armored Core's ability is definitely there, it's just untapped for now. Armored Core 6 is the essence of a soft reboot. It has the unenviable task of drawing newcomers to a niche, sometimes overly challenging series without changing too much of what made fans like it to begin with. The result is a mixed experience that, while it has some shining moments of brilliance, feels a bit loose and never plays to its strengths. And they decided to give the game 3 stars out of 5. And this is the same publication that gave Diablo 4 stars out of 5. And Diablo is not a 4-star game, absolutely not. When you think about it, gaming journalists and shit takes go hand in hand, because the one thing that I have seen unanimously in all the reviews of Armored Core 6 is that the combat feels great and that the mechs feel fantastic to use and everything just works perfectly. Some people are criticizing the story, but that's not even what this reviewer was mainly criticizing. So obviously this is just another L for gaming journalists. I am not surprised. And I heard a lot of people were criticizing my last video when I was calling out Shill Up or Skill Up for being a little bit disingenuous with the Atlas Fallen review and the Armored Core 6 preview. And this is my opinion on that. Here in America, we have something called free speech, and the Skill Up reviews and the gaming journalist shit takes, they are protected by free speech. So is my blasting of their reviews. So I will continue to do so because it entertains me. And I hope it entertained you as well. If it did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on the next video.